So I've talked a lot about the Framework Laptop 13 on this channel, and it is widely considered to be the best and most refined device from Framework, and it's also their first. But there's another device from Framework that you can buy right now that I barely mentioned on this channel, mainly because I never even considered buying it. That device is the Framework Laptop 16. And today I thought I would make a video about the problems I personally have with this laptop and what kind of larger laptop I would hope to see from Framework in the future. But before we dive into that, please consider subscribing, checking out my Discord and Patreon where I post weekly exclusive content. Thank you. So the Framework Laptop 16 started shipping in February of 2024, meaning it's over a year old. Its biggest and coolest feature, at least for me, was the option to either buy or not to buy this graphic module that you can swap out. That means you can choose when or even if you want to carry around a huge heatsink that will be able to cool a dedicated GPU. But this is where my first issue comes in. We only have one option for the GPU, and that is the Radeon RX 7700S. And I get it. The manufacturer of the GPU probably has to be okay with Framework doing this sort of special stuff that needs to be done when you want to make a really swappable GPU for your laptop. That is why we're probably not going to see an NVIDIA GPU in this laptop for a long time. But what are we going to get then? The lack of communication is something that really makes me wary of the Framework Laptop 16. While the Laptop 13 got upgrades and 2 new devices were actually introduced at the Framework 2nd Gen event, the Framework Laptop 16 got basically nothing, except for this one key module. Now, to be fair, it did get the dual M.2 adapter a few months before this event, which is really cool and something that I'd love to see from Framework, but what else are we getting? What is the roadmap? Is the development slowed down because of, lack of demand, or are you focusing on the 2 new devices? Framework is known for its very strong communication with the community, and they really dropped the ball here. I would really like to know much more about this device, and when you say nothing, it just leaves the potential buyers or even the owners just speculating about negative stuff, why there are no information or why there are only speculation, and this only fuels more speculation and it goes from bad to worse, basically. Then there's the price to performance ratio, which in my opinion is much worse than on the Framework Laptop 13. And again, it's understandable. It's a first generation of a laptop made by a small company, and I think nobody who bought it as an enthusiast expected something like very polished or perfect. This is something that nobody expected. But there are real issues with the throttling and the keyboard flex. Now, granted, Framework has, helped people who bought these laptops with addressing these issues, sending them parts that will make their chassis a little bit stiffer so the keyboard doesn't flex as much. But these are problems that really need to be addressed and fixed permanently. People buying chunky, powerful and expensive laptops expect like the peak performance from their laptops, much more than a person who bought a Framework Laptop 13, for example, who might be okay with having little thermal issues while getting this ultrabook form factor. There are just trade-offs. But I think Framework could fix this problem with the price-performance ratio by not lowering the price. I don't think that will happen, but by making the performance better. I've always defended Framework's higher prices by saying that they offer something extremely unique that basically no one else offers, and this is true, but if the foundation isn't very solid, all of these unique extra things just don't matter as much. And now we get to the last reason why I never considered this laptop, and this one's very subjective to me, and that is I just don't want another chunky laptop. I've owned laptops with dedicated GPUs before, and it's really hard to get them right. You don't want thermal throttling, but you also don't want your laptop weighing a ton. Personally, if I need that much performance, I just built a desktop, which I personally did. I know that is not an option for everyone, but personally, I will always choose battery life, portability, and quietness over having raw power with me everywhere I go. But that doesn't mean that I'm against having larger screens on laptops. And this is actually where my wish for a Framework Laptop 15 comes in. Imagine this, you already own the Framework Laptop 13 and you would want a laptop with a larger screen. What if there was a possibility to just take your mainboard and buy this very special body, which has a 15-inch screen and has exactly the dimensions for your mainboard that you could just put in from your laptop 13 and have a bigger screen laptop. Now, of course, I don't know how Framework would solve the mismatch between the size of the body and the smaller mainboard from the Framework Laptop 13, but I think this could be done and it would be amazing. This sort of plug and play upscalings is exactly what I want Framework to do. More cross-compatibility between the mainboards would be awesome. As it is now, the Framework 12, 13, and 16 all have different size mainboards, so they are incompatible with each other. But what if you really want a larger screen? Framework has already brought something very unique to the table, so who says they cannot do it again? But what do you think about the Framework Laptop 16 and my dream Framework Laptop 15? Let me know in the comments, I would love to hear your opinion. But that will be it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and also check out my Discord and Patreon. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.